Welcome back to the Toon Chat podcast. I'm your host, as always, Coleslaw. And there is only 3 more months in this year, meaning only 3 more podcast episodes. But don't worry, I'm starting a brand new series of content with my cartoon raps, the first of which came out earlier this month. And the next one will be in pre-production pretty soon, so that's exciting. But for now, we are talking all about different cartoons and their season-y vibes. Have you ever watched a show and thought to yourself, I feel like I should be snuggled up to a fireplace with some hot chocolate, or I should be on the beach with some lemonade or something like that? Well, I'm going to tell you some of the cartoons that make you feel like that the most, and just why I think that is. So, without any further ado, let's jump right into the season of autumn. It is October, after all. Fall is one of my favorite seasons of the year, and we're going to start off with Over the Garden Wall, and y'all saw that thumbnail in that sentence? Very true. This show just radiates autumn vibes everywhere you look. This show has an eerie overtone to most every scene, except in a very beautiful way. And in addition, the fall color palette is seen all over the place. You got the forests filled with orange-leafed trees, strange people with jack-o'-lantern heads, and giant turkey creatures. This show is just fall in every sense of the word. Now you look at when this show premiered, back in 2014, it was in November, so you know what, makes a lot of sense. And this show came and went super swiftly, but it was so nice when it was here. Kind of like a nice November breeze, in a way, I guess, sort of. Now that show probably radiates the most season-y vibes out of any show I'm going to talk about. Might as well be called Over the Autumn Wall. But there's another show that's very fall-y as well, and that's Hilda. Hilda is such an easy, cute show to watch, and just like Over the Garden Wall, it utilizes that desaturated color palette and style that portrays that cool and crisp autumny feel super duper well. And additionally, Hilda has that mystical storybook element attached to it, which I believe makes it feel like autumn even more so. And every single character is seen wearing a sweater or a sweatshirt, Hilda with her scarf, of course, and it's all those little details that make it feel super cozy, like a September-November feel. These two shows really do feel like you should be watching them on a brisk, windy day in the middle of the autumn seasons. But we're going to transition to a little bit colder with winter. Now, winter was probably the most difficult season to find cartoons for, believe it or not, but I chose Ghost and Molly McGee as one of the shows. Now, you may think a show with a ghost as the main character will feel more Halloween-like and autumny, which is kind of true, but it's that Season 1, 10th episode that puts it here. That episode being a fantastically done Hanukkah episode that really pleasantly surprised me. The episode very well could have just been a way to appeal and please to those who celebrate Hanukkah, but it did a lot more than that, thankfully. The structure of the episode was very interesting, and the jokes weren't on a lower level compared to some of the other episodes. And I love how they didn't try and make this a holiday special and shove the message down our throats. They just made it another really nice quality episode of this fun show. And the other show you got here is Steven Universe. This is only a little bit of an excuse for me to talk about my favorite show ever again, but there's actually a great couple of episodes that portray that wintertime coziness feel very well. The episode titled 3 Gems and a Baby is a simple yet beautiful Season 4 episode that takes place during this wild snowstorm. It's done in the form of a flashback story time thing as Greg tells the story as there's a snowfall. That episode's always nice, but my favorite winter moment is with Steven and Connie in Season 1, Episode 42, Winter Forecast. In this episode, we get a lot of fun scenes with Garnet's future vision, but the best scene is at that very ending. Getting to see Steven and Connie get their wish to stay up, watching the snow fall, is just so adorable. I love them so much, and this scene confirms my love of them. Then moving swiftly out of winter, you got spring, and I don't think you could talk about spring without mentioning the show Amphibia. Amphibia takes you away to a frog-filled world riddled with swamps and creatures. The show does a good job at portraying that marsh-type setting that is often associated with springtime, I think. The show has its many muddy, rainy, and sticky moments that I'm a bit familiar with during the spring season. Also, one of the main characters is literally named Sprig, which is just one N away from the season I'm talking about, so, yeah, it has to be here. And another very springy show in my eyes is that of Adventure Time. The show's famous island song features the lyric, "Come along with me," and the butterflies and bees. Bees are very much a springy thing, even though they're absolutely the worst. I hate bees. And as you watch through these 10 seasons of the show, every scene and every adventure appears to be in that perfect, ideal spring season. Everything just looks so bright and nice. Never looks too hot, never looks too cold. It's just two best friends living their life in this gorgeous world. And now to round it out, I'm sure a lot of you missed summer, so we'll talk about summer right now. And obviously one of the shows is going to be Summer Camp Island. This show gave off major summer camp vibes because obviously the name of the show, but that was especially the case through those first 60 episodes. That stretch of episodes is when the show's at its best and it portrays summer the most. The whole vibe of the show shifts in season 3 and 4 when they focus more on Susie and some backstory stuff. Then season 5, super weird, giving us one-off stories and shorts and whatever, but those summer camp vibes that were in the original 60 episodes, that is when the show is at its best, and it has a really summery core and it's a lighthearted watch. And the last show we gotta talk about is, of course, Gravity Falls. Just like summer feels real short and flies by when it's happening, same thing happened to Gravity Falls. During its only 2 seasons, we got to see Dipper and Mabel on summer break as they visit their grunkle in Oregon. And the show really does cram so many summer vibes and activities into it. Some of those summery aspects include, off the top of my head, like fishing, the carnival, swimming at the pool, water balloon fights, and mini golf. And also one-eyed Dorito demons. So, very summery, very fantastic show. Radiates summer throughout the entire of the 2 fantastic seasons. So there you have it, the 8 animated shows I associate with the 4 seasons the most. Do you think I missed out on a show I should have included, or did I absolutely nail this? But now we're going to move on to everyone's favorite segment, What the Dump Happened Last Month. In the month of September, we got new content from 2 fantastic sci-fi adult animated cartoons, one of which just premiered last month and it blew me away, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's first talk about Rick and Morty's 6th season. Rick and Morty got greenlit for a bunch more seasons, and this show was a blast and a half to watch, so I'm super happy that the 6th one is here. The first episode picks up right where the huge season 5 finale left off, which is great because it means Rick and Morty's great canon story is coming into play and getting more depth. That first episode brings some clarity with some of our characters' original dimensions, but more importantly, the reveal of Morty's Rick being the Rick who killed our Rick's family. Okay, it's pretty confusing, but it's super cool. I will for sure be watching the rest of the season every single week. Now, the other episodes we've gotten so far has been thematically interesting, to put it lightly, but still some fun enough adventures. And now I cannot wait to talk about this next show, and that is Pantheon. Remember the name Pantheon because this show is remarkable. It somehow made its way into my radar, and oh boy, I'm glad it did. The show uses that borderline anime art style, very similar to Invincible, and it is just such a joy to look at. As of recording this, there have been 7 episodes, and the story is absolutely phenomenal. The psychological aspects in the show are great, I love them, and I get excited with every single new installment. The show already is easily in my top 20 cartoons, maybe even top 15. It's super duper amazing. The only thing I have with it is its own AMC Plus, so I had to get an AMC Plus account to watch this, which is annoying, but it is worth it. It's such a good cartoon. If I had more time, I'd ramble on and on about Pantheon. It's such a good show. The characters are amazing. The story, incredible. It's unique. Everything about it is amazing. You have to watch this show. Get an AMC Plus account, please. I'm begging you, just get the account. I know you don't have an AMC Plus account, but just get one. But that's all that time I have for. Thank you all very much for listening to this month's podcast, and I'll see you all next month. See ya.